I'm Rhea from Active Health Clinic, and today I wanted to speak to you about a principle called the traffic lights. Now, when I use traffic lights, it's usually in helping a patient understand how to pace, and in terms of pacing, being able to recognise what their body's telling them to then be able to look at what strategies are going to help them feel better or feel less crappy, is how I usually explain it. So what I first explain is that all of our symptoms actually mean something, and if we begin to listen to the language from our body, we can begin to interpret its needs and look at assisting the body getting through this illness rather than pushing through, not listening and booming and busting and feeling absolutely horrendous. So I first start by saying we have our traffic lights. You may have seen me discuss in the past the types of fatigue. So this works quite closely with that. So we want to be able to identify our types of fatigue. We also want to be able to identify our traffic lights. So the first one I start is our green line. This doesn't mean we feel good to go. It also means that we have our baseline level of symptoms. So this may be pain, this may be fatigue, this may be brain fog. Those tend to be the top three that tend to stick around the longest or all the time. But these are our baseline symptoms. So they mean we're okay to do the task at hand. We're okay to go. We don't feel fabulous, but we're okay. Versus our orange light is more of our warning signal, and this generally means slow down. So this is a worsening of our symptoms. So the example I always like to give is something like concentrating. You might have started by reading a book and all of a sudden you're losing concentration. You just read that sentence a couple times and you're beginning to lose where you are on the page. This is a symptom that you didn't have going into the activity itself. So this is a warning symptom of the body saying, hey, I'm fatiguing, please slow down. So with this in mind, this is the time where we want to take action. We will actually want to recharge at the time where our symptoms are telling us to slow down. Versus when we ignore them, we hit this one. And this is our red light, this is our stop sign. And this is our setback level of symptoms. This is a worsening in our state that we cannot keep going with the task at hand. So if we come back to my example of reading, you might have begun to lose yourself on the page, and now you might notice that you can't differentiate the words anymore. I used to call it my zombie state, like you're there but you're not really there. So this one is your body doesn't really give you the option to keep going. It's to the point where the body just says, no, not happening, we cannot push through, I'm done for now. So basically, every time we hit a red light, all of our body's energy is going into fixing that problem and getting ourselves out of red than it is to stabilizing and feeling better. So this is a very reactive state, and in order to manage our symptoms and manage our condition, we need to be proactive. We need to understand where our energy is going, where it's coming back in, and how we find that balance between it all. So I always encourage people to first identify what their red light symptoms are, because they're very clear. You've experienced them, unfortunately, quite frequently. But people are used to their orange lights. They have normalized their orange lights. They experience them on a very regular basis. So I then start by going, okay, well, what do you think your orange light symptoms are, so that we begin to identify them as our gentle signals to slow down. This then helps us interpret when we should be pacing, how we should be pacing, and what principles to put in line or strategies to put in line that are going to help us get the most out of our day without booming and busting. So pacing is not slowing down and doing nothing. Pacing is exceptionally productive if you do it in the right way and in line with where your body's needs are, rather than your expectations and what you would like to be able to do. So I hope all of this has made sense. I encourage you to identify your orange and your red lights and your strategies that help you recharge to get you back to the green zone, okay to go again. So if you'd like more strategies, subscribe to our YouTube channel. There is so many there, but head to our Active Health Clinic Wellness Tribe. We do regular webinars in there and short videos just like this. It's a very supportive and open space for people dealing with invisible illnesses. Also using the hashtag AHC Millions, we are impacting 1 million lives by 2022, and we invite you to join us. Thanks.